go to Monday night. We got the Rams at the 49ers. Niners favored by 1.5. Total is just 42.5. So pretty much expecting a low scoring game. The big news for the Niners is Trent Williams is out, which, historically has lowered their yard per carry by about a half yard or so. And, been a little easier to sack Jimmy G, obviously. But with that being said, what's going on? What we got here?
I think we're on the same guy, so I'll let you go first here.
Yeah, it's Debo. Talked about him on the Flex Pod as well, but he's averaging in the 3 games last year versus the Rams. He averaged 11 touches for 124 scrimmage yards, 1.3 touchdowns per game. He's also a guy who just tears up zone even more than man coverage, and the Rams are playing pretty much all zone. Like both of these teams are actually top 4 in zone rate, but the Rams, like, you could expect it to continue almost regardless of the opponent. That's just what they've been doing for the last year and change now at this point. So really like Debo in this spot. I think they're going to continue to have to rely on him in the run and the pass game.
Yep, ditto. He feasts against zone coverage. And I mean, you mentioned it last year against the Rams. They played each other 3 times because of the playoff game. I mean, he had more than 25 rushing yards each matchup, more than 70 receiving yards in each matchup, and he scored a touchdown on all 3. Like, this is the perfect Debo matchup. And then, some other guys in the slate, like a Cooper Kupp, your boy Allen Robinson, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. I'm kind of down on them, so this is the perfect time to take Debo in your captain slot.
Yeah, I think Robinson is going to probably have a tough game because, remember, he's struggling against zone coverage. That was his issue last year too. And the Niners are also playing zone at a high rate. So, it's just it's a Cooper Kupp game. Like, if obviously the other guy, if you're going against Debo, is Cooper Kupp. I wouldn't get too fancy with it. Maybe you could try for some Jeff Wilson. And what's our like? I feel like it changes every week, but how are we feeling about Akers and Henderson?
Oh God. It really depends on the game flow, right? And this one's going to be a close game. So I don't think either back really stands out. In a game that's going to be lower scoring, that hurts Akers because, the short yard situation, touchdown odds kind of go down. I don't like either back right now. I have Akers as my RB 38 and Henderson RB 40. Are you seeing anything differently?
No, I mean, this is a tough matchup. I think the San Francisco defense is elite. Like, I think it's creating all these, like, everyone is like more down on even Russell Wilson than I think they should be because of this Niner defense. So, like, I think there's kind of a lot. People just don't realize how good this defense is. But I did hear, Sean McVay talking. They asked him kind of like, what did you say to Akers after the fumble in the last game? And he was like, that we have full confidence in him. And he even said that if we got back into a 2-minute situation, it would have been Akers. So I feel like of the two, Akers is probably still the guy that you want now. Like, it's kind of gotten back to where we expected it to be.
Yeah.
Before week 1 came around. It's just a really tough matchup. So I don't know about the captain spot for either, though. I would just kind of, maybe it's kind of a lineup filler.
Yeah, it is tough because Henderson is sort of the pass catching back, but Stafford doesn't target his running backs.
Yeah.
So that role's kind of useless in this offense. So yeah, just by default, Akers has the more valuable role right now, at least.
Yeah. And this is a game where he should target his running backs because the Niners aren't going to blitz. They're just going to rush 4. And, but that just gives them more time to find Cooper Kupp. So
exactly. All roads lead to more Cooper Kupp targets. Let's face it.
Yeah. I mean, after Allen Robinson screwed up 2 touchdowns last week in I think it was back-to-back plays.
Were they both his fault? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. It's Allen
You're
Robinson.
Just putting him both. Yeah.
No, he definitely,
at least one of them.
Definitely one of them, but I think both of them. They're just not on the same page, which, I mean, Robinson's the new guy. Stafford's the guy that led him to the Super Bowl last year. So,
that's true.
All right. Who do you like for dart throws?
I'm going straight to the fullbacks. I am not messing around because this slate is so top heavy. I mean, there's only really 2 dart throws we can consider here.
Yeah.
And on the 49ers side, we got to go with Kyle Juszczyk. I mean, the Showdown Slate was created for him. And, he's been kind of off to a slow start. He didn't have a catch the first 2 weeks. Last week, he already had that catch that you mentioned, 24-yarder. But with Jimmy G under center, based on his underlying usage, like last week, he ran route on 45% of dropbacks. We should expect him to get, 1 to 2 receptions a game going forward, which I don't know about you. That's the highest projection I have for any fullback.
Yeah.
So he's valuable. He's usually good for 1 or 2 vulture touchdowns a season. Unfortunately, he already had 1 week 2. Maybe we'll get a year where he has 2. But he's like the perfect fullback for a Showdown Slate. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people know about him, so his rostership will probably be higher than most fullbacks, but got to go with him. And then I guess we're considering Ben Skoranek a fullback now. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, he's playing a ton of it.
Yeah, so I mean, he's still, going out wide. He's still right now the Van Jefferson replacement. So as long as he's out, he's going to be the clear number 3. They haven't been messing around with Tutu Atwell.
Number 3? He's the number 2.
Well, okay, yeah, more Allen Robinson.
He's the wide back. He's the Debo.
Yeah,
he's the Debo.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Does he have a rush attempt yet? I don't think he has.
He doesn't, but I still project him for like 0.03 rush attempts.
Yeah, he is due for like a vulture touchdown around the 1, right? Yeah. But yeah, so this is one of those slates where he doesn't need to do much, and he could be on the winning lineup. And then also the 49ers defense, just because this is going to be a low scoring game, I think both defenses really. But I do like the idea of pairing up the 49ers defense with Jeff Wilson and Deebo Samuel. I think that's a sneaky 3-way stack there. But this is definitely a slate where we should consider the defenses.
Yeah. And I really like the Niners defense. The Rams, I don't know what's going on with them. They're not really getting pressure. So this actually might be a good
Trent Williams out might help. Right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to be the interior that the Rams usually get more. But I don't know. It's just been weird. It's the Rams defense has not looked quite right for a while now. So I don't know, maybe they rebound in this spot, but the Niners usually own them. So it's weird, but yeah, I like the Skoranek call, like Juszczyk, obviously. The only other guy I'll even mention is Danny Gray. He's always like to kind of get ahead of these rookies. You never know when they might have a breakout. He's only run 6 routes all year, but he's got 2 targets on those 6 routes. And one of the things they are talking about coming out of that Denver game where they struggled to put any offense on the board is that they need more speed on the field. And Jimmy G really hasn't had a chance to work with Gray much. So like these last few weeks are really the first time that he's been able to kind of get to throw to him. So I wouldn't be surprised if Shanahan schemes up, maybe 1 or 2 plays to try to catch the Rams off guard, with Danny Gray's speed. So that's the only guy. But yeah, both of these teams like to play their starters a ton. So they're not really rotating guys in and out to where you can go like a whole bunch of different ways with these dart throws. Yeah,
I like that call. I was kind of like eyeing the 49ers number 3 receiver. Usually Juwan Jennings in these spots would be sneaky, but his routes run rate has dropped quite a bit. You're obviously getting a touchdown from him to hit. Ray McLeod, he's the kind of guy that probably needs 4 or 5 targets to really do any damage. But yeah, Danny Gray, I didn't even think about that. He is their main deep threat.
Yeah.
His ADOT of 21.5 on the year. So all it will take for him to break the slate is 1 catch. So yeah, if they get more playing time, design, at least 1 deep ball to him. He is absolutely somebody we should target on this slate.
And Jimmy G's kind of taking shots at subliminal shots at Shanahan in the media, saying like he wants to throw it deep more, and he liked it better in 2017 when like he just got there and he wasn't like in the context of the offense as much. So maybe they drawing up for Danny.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
yeah, I can see that.
Jennings Jennings could actually get deep too. He's just like he's like their Ben Skoranek in a lot of ways. He's a great run blocker, and then like he could just like sneak by the defense. So he actually doesn't need a ton. Like I think Jimmy G overthrew him, or no, there was pressure on a play where Jennings was like breaking free down the sideline against Denver, and it forced Jimmy G to kind of like throw the ball inaccurately, and I think Jennings bobbled it. So like Jennings, I like the Jennings call too. I think Jennings has some potential.
He's replacing the old school Kendrick Bourne role, just the number 3 receiver, kind of sneaky athleticism, maybe overlooked a bit, and will score 5 touchdowns this season kind of guy. So but yeah, his routes run rate don't look great. But yeah, I rather go with the Gray call on this slate, if I'm being honest.
If I'm not mistaken, let me look this up, but I do think Jennings had a multi-touchdown game last year against the Rams.
Oh, he absolutely did.
He did, right? It was like week 18, I believe, right?
Yeah, towards the end, I think.
Let's see.
Was it? Yeah, was it against the Rams? Let me see.
Yeah, week 18 against the Rams.
Okay, never mind. I take that back. I like the Jennings call better.
It was him and Emir Smith-Marset were going off on week 18.
Yeah.
Never to be heard from again.